So if you've ever tried to hook up professional audio gear, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've waded right into this alphabet soup of digital protocols. Dante, Madi, AVB, AES67. It seriously feels like every single piece of equipment speaks its own language. Well, in this explainer, we are going to make sense of it all.
I mean, just hearing names like Dante, Ravenna, and AES67 is enough to make your head spin, right? But don't worry. Our goal here is to cut right through all that confusion. We're going to give you a super simple framework to understand what these protocols are, what they do best, and most importantly, which one is right for you.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll lay down a simple way to think about all these networks. Then, we'll dive into the big one, the industry standard, Dante, and we'll also look at its universal translator, AES67. After that, we'll explore some key alternatives and then, pull it all together so you can confidently pick the right protocol for whatever you're doing. Let's jump in.
Okay, to make all of this really click, we're going to use one single analogy for this whole explainer. I want you to think of audio protocols as different kinds of transportation systems. Yeah, seriously. Some are like these massive public highway networks. Others are more like high-speed bullet trains, and a few are just a simple direct shuttle from point A to point B. Stick with me on this because this one idea is going to be our guide through everything.
So let's start with the biggest one on the road, Dante. If we're talking about transportation systems, then Dante is, without a doubt, the sprawling, interconnected interstate highway system. I mean, it is everywhere. Almost every brand out there makes a car that can drive on it, and for most trips you want to take, it's just the easiest and most obvious route.
And this number right here, this says it all. Over 3,300 Dante-enabled products. This right here is why Dante is the de facto standard. It means your console from one company, your speaker from another, and your microphone from a totally different one can almost certainly talk to each other, like effortlessly. That's what you call market dominance.
So why is Dante so popular? Well, it really comes down to a few key things. That massive ecosystem is probably its biggest asset, but it's also famous for being plug and play. The free Dante controller software just finds all your devices automatically, letting you route audio with a simple click. It's super flexible, perfect for a touring show, a corporate building, or a recording studio. And for the really huge networks, there's Dante Domain Manager, which adds some serious security and control. Next up, let's talk about AES67. Now, it's really tempting to think of this as just another competitor to Dante, but that's not quite right. In our transportation analogy, if Dante is the entire system, AES67 is the universal standard for the width of the train tracks. It's that one simple rule that lets all these different train systems run on the very same rails.
So what is it, really? Well, AES67 is a standard, not a product you can buy. It's a set of rules that defines a common language for things like clocking and how audio data gets packaged up. Think of it as the essential common tongue that lets a device speaking, say, Ravenna, send audio to a device that speaks Dante. But here's the key. It doesn't handle things like automatically discovering devices or making routing easy. It's just that fundamental connection layer.
This slide nails the difference perfectly. Dante is the whole shebang. The roads, the cars, the traffic signals. It manages everything for you. AES67 is just the agreement on how wide the lanes are. It's what makes interoperability possible, but you still need a bigger system to actually manage all the traffic. And this is why most modern Dante gear also supports an AES67 mode. It lets them bridge these different audio worlds. Of course, Dante isn't the only system out there, not by a long shot. So now we're going to look at the other major players, but instead of thinking of them as direct competitors, I want you to think of them more like specialized transportation routes, built for very specific jobs where the main highway just isn't the best choice.
Okay, two of the biggest alternatives are Ravenna and AVB/Milan. Ravenna is like the high-speed bullet train. It's an open, license-free standard that's perfect for broadcast because it's the native audio for video over IP standards like ST2110. AVB/Milan, on the other hand, well, that's like a private shuttle on a reserved road. It needs special AVB-capable network switches, which can be a hassle, but in return, it guarantees your audio will arrive with perfect, predictable timing, no matter what else is happening on the network.
And then we have the point-to-point options, which, to be honest, aren't really networks at all. Madi is like a trusty old pneumatic tube system. It's a simple, non-IP digital link that just works. It sends up to 64 channels down a single cable, and that's why you still see it everywhere in broadcast and on older consoles.
And AES50, that's the super efficient proprietary link used in the Midas and Behringer world, designed for one specific job, connecting a stage box to a console with ridiculously low latency.
Okay, we've covered all the key players. Now we get to the most important part. How in the world do you actually choose? Let's take everything we've talked about and boil it down into a simple, practical way to make a decision.
It really just boils down to asking yourself these 4 questions. Number 1, do you need the absolute maximum compatibility with the most gear? The answer is Dante, hands down. Number 2, are you working in broadcast or need to play nice with video over IP systems like SD2110? Then you're going to want to look at Ravenna and AES67. 3, is guaranteed rock-solid timing your absolute number 1 priority? That's the special niche for AVB/Milan. And 4, do you just need a simple, direct connection between 2 devices? Madi or AES50 are perfect for that.
And here it is, all on one slide. This is your cheat sheet. You're probably going to want to screenshot this. You can see the key differences at a glance. Check out the Infra Required column. Dante and Ravenna work on standard IT switches, but AVB/Milan needs special hardware, while Madi and AES50 don't need any switches at all. But the real golden ticket is that last column, primary use case. That is your ultimate guide for matching the tech to the job. So let's end with one last thought to chew on. The whole world of media is converging, right? Standards like ST2110 are pulling video and audio onto the exact same network, a world where Ravenna feels completely at home. So does this mean that Dante's massive dominance might one day give way to a single unified standard? Or will we always need these specialized routes for specialized jobs? That, my friends, is the big question for the years ahead. Thanks for watching.